Oh. Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is the first time I've been live with you today, I think. Yes, it is. That's why I'm feeling a bit excited. Lots to talk about. We're going to be talking about, INEOS and Sir David Brailsford's amazing / stupid / ridiculous Mission 21. We'll talk about that. We will be talking about that. So this is their new plan. Apparently they've got some professor to sit down with Sir David Brailsford, and they've got a plan on how we're going to win our 21st title. I could have done it for free, Sir David. I really could. I will tell everybody for free how you win the title with Manchester United. You don't need a bloody professor. You don't need a bloody computer. And you don't need to analyse it. It's really easy. So we'll talk about that. Also, Luke Shaw. What's going on with Luke Shaw? He's out for another month. Then he's back on Monday. Spin. We'll talk about what's going on there as well. And a little bit about Garnacho and whatever else you want to bring in. We're early tonight because I'm on That's Football for Newcastle knocking Arsenal out. I'll be live on That's Football for 8 o'clock for that. I just want to applaud everybody, actually, because apart from a few morons in the comments section, actually, I invite it. Some really tasty debates going on in the comments section. Like, you know, there was some people last night saying, no, Mark, I completely agree that we should have walked away from Tell and done nothing. We haven't got much money. And I completely disagree with you, but fair play for having your opinion on that. Eye bridge, mate, this ain't going to get better for 2 weeks. It's a burst blood vessel in my eye. It's at least you can see I bleed red. But I'm used to it now, but some of you might not be, so I don't know. Apparently you can do it by building muscles, which is probably what I've done. But apparently you can do it while you're having a poo by straining, which I definitely didn't do because I eat a lot of fibre. Lifting something, banging it. I don't know how I did it. I could have done it in my. I could have done it in my eye. It wasn't Sir Jim Radcliffe when after that video I did the other day about the land that's landlocked. I think there's no comments. Right, let's get into the show. So I want to talk about this first of all. Listen to this. So Sir David, this is coming from the Times. So Sir David Brailsford has unveiled a plan, and I will be getting angry about Luke Shaw. I read a comment this morning. Can't wait to see what Goldbridge's reaction is to this. I'd already burst the blood vessel. Maybe should have had 2. Frustration. It could have been that Tell video, actually. I was getting very angry in that. Anyway, this is where we're going to start. So David Brailsford has unveiled a plan to staff at Man United called Mission 21 to deliver a 21st Premier League title. Now, I believe this because I know for a fact, not players, staff. Remember, Man United have still got a lot of staff. Some of them did get sacked, but they still have got a lot of staff. And in general, people are not happy. They don't like the Glazers. They don't like INEOS. They don't like what's happening. So there are a lot of leaks coming out from staff at the moment. And I would believe that whoever it is in the Times has got it. Other people have got it because people just can't stand the way that the club's being run at the moment. And that is fact. The club can try and spin the way out of that one because they won't be able to. I mean, every article from The Athletic at the moment is from sources that they can't name to protect them. This is another one. There's loads of stuff coming out. Anyway, so this is coming from a member of staff that Sir David Brailsford is pushing this Mission 21 to deliver a 21st Premier League title. Brailsford has drafted this blueprint for United's future with the assistance of James Morton, a professor of exercise metabolism at Liverpool John Moores University. They presented their Mission 21 blueprint to senior performance staff at the club's Carrington training ground late last year. They unveiled Mission 1, the plan for the women's team, who are looking for their first Women's Super League title. Mission 21 and Mission 1 sit under United's broader project, Project 150 initiative, which was presented by the chief executive, Omar Barada, last autumn and is linked to the club's 150th anniversary in 2028. I mean, I'm trying to take this seriously, but I feel like, you know, when I do my FIFA career mode and I say, and if anyone's ever watched my FIFA career mode, if I lose the Champions League final at the end of a season, I'll go, right, mission, win the Champions League next season. That's all that matters. It sounds to me like that. It sounds like an absolute load of shit, if I'm being completely honest. It sounds like a load of spin, and it sounds like a big, massive waste of time. And I'll tell you why. Because can somebody tell me the success of the 6-month thing that we did a year ago? What was it? What did they call it a year ago? I've completely forgotten now. Brailsford did it. Somebody in the chat will remember it. I was talking about it earlier. The big review that they did. Strategic review. A year ago. 6 months of a strategic review. Kept Ten Hag, spent £300 million, brought Dan Ashworth in. All gone now. I mean, I don't really... I mean... What's your success in football, mate? That's where I'm. What is your success in football? And what I've been watching football for over 40 years. Most of you've been watching football for all your life. Do you think some guy who used to be good at cycling is going to solve a problem in football and make us win our 21st title because of some performance thing? I just think it's a load of shit. I really do. And I think that's why it's been leaked to the Times, because I think I know people in Man United are not impressed. So I didn't know about this, and I'll give credit to the Times, but I do know lots of staff are not happy at Man United in the way that it's being run at the moment. And I would imagine whoever's told the Times about it is also laughing about it as well. I mean, Mission 21, it just sounds shit. What's that all about? Is it trying to win the 21st title? Yeah, okay. I mean, look, let's be fair. Manchester United should always be Mission 21, 22, 23, the next title, the next title, the next title. I get that. But what makes me laugh is that there is no secret potion to winning the title by doing something that nobody else has done before. And it feels like that's what's being rammed down our throat. Like, we're going to do this performance thing that's going to make us better than every other team in the league. And we're going to cut costs and we're going to buy cheap and young and it's going to make us better than everybody in the league. And all I ever think about is there are 5 clubs better, stronger than us and richer than us that are going to be thinking the same thing. Liverpool are going to be thinking, how do we stay on top? Man City are going to be thinking, how do we get back on top? Arsenal are going to be thinking, how do we go from second to first? Chelsea are going to be thinking, how do we get on top? And the 5th team, well, take your pick, because there definitely is a 5th team better than us. It's just whether you want to say it's Newcastle, Aston Villa, Brighton, take your pick. But we're definitely not in the top 5. Well, we're not in the bloody top 10 at the moment. But I don't even think prospectively we're in the top 5. I think we're exactly where we deserve to be. And it just surprises me how this stuff comes out, because it's very scary that that's the plan in the club, and Operation 150 and Mission 21 are actually terms in our football club. It just sounds like a project for someone to get promoted. Like, every job I've ever worked in that's corporate or even private sector, these sort of pratty names are what people do to get promoted. So they've got their job and then they'll come up with some sort of extra thing to make them sound... It's just corporate. It's bullshit. If Manchester United want to win the title, I'll tell you how they need to win the title. But you're not going to win the title by getting some guy to analyse performance and then your performance is going to be better than somebody else. Unless we're going to put special drugs in people's drink that is going to make us quicker and stronger than everybody else, there is no way you are going to find a physical edge in 2025 over another 19 Premier League clubs, because they're all doing the same. They're all doing the same. And actually, everybody knows what we're doing. We're talking to this bloody professor from Liverpool. So it's just a load of shit. I think it, look, I'm not blaming INEOS and I'm not blaming the Glazers, because I don't think they've put it out there. This has come from staff who've told the Times about it. So it's not like Sir David Brailsford wants this out there. It's not like he's going, this is my Mission 21. He's probably there going, bloody hell, what's that doing out there? But the leaks are coming out of the club because people aren't happy. And they're obviously ridiculing it as well. But what do you think? Like, what do you think if we've got a Mission 21? Like, the things I want to know is the parameters of it and how long it's going to take. So how long it's going to take, I really want to know. And the parameters of it is how you're going to do it. So is this going to happen by 2028? Because that's Operation 150. I'm getting really fed up with these buzzwords. So 2028 is what Barada said they'd like to win the league title by. So 2028 is 2025 now. So you've got this season, 2026, 2027, 2028. So you've got 3.5 seasons to win the league. It's doable. It's doable, but do you think we're going to win the league in 2028? So 3 years in May, do you think we're going to win the league? I don't see, well, we're not winning the league this year and we're not winning the league next year. So that would be 2026. So you've got 2 years to win the league because we won't win it next year and we won't win it this year. So you've got 2 years to win the league. I don't think we can win the league in 2028, to be honest with you. I agree with Mohamed Awaz. I think minimum 5 years, because I just think everybody else is better than us. Everybody else is in a better position financially than us. And everybody else is going to be in a better position financially than us for a long time. I mean, look, the Champions League is massive money now. Massive. You know what? I forgot that Aston Villa got Malen as well. Malen, Asensio and Rashford was their summer transfer, their January transfer window. And they got a defender, didn't they? And they got a midfielder. I think they got 5 players in Aston Villa. Can I just have an applause for Aston Villa, please? I mean, that is a football club that's backing its manager and wants to be ambitious. Because Aston Villa won't win the Champions League. And they're not in the top 5. So what have Aston Villa done? They've said, we need to be in the Champions League next year. Let's do stuff in January to give us our best chance of being in the Champions League next year, because it's another 80 million. We've got to be in the Europa League at least, but we want to be in the Champions League. So they've gone out and got 5 players in January. I mean, I just think that's fantastic. I bet their fans aren't moaning about how much the loan deals are costing them. So, look, I think that's by the by. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of clubs, I think, that are better run than us and will be better run than us. I mean, imagine if Villa get in the Champions League again. That's 2 years of Champions League football. That's 80 million each year. Pure revenue. So, yeah. The Big B says, Mission 21, more like Mission Impossible with the way we're ran. Get these fools out. Mission Wax a turd, says Keel Robinson. Well, as Beth said, mission win a game in the Premier League. Mission win games back-to-back would be a nice start. Nobody can save United from reality, says Constantine. And bringing Pogba back would be a huge mistake. It never works out well when we bring someone back, says Z3 Music Official. Well, give us your thoughts. I want to know what you would do to get Man United back on top. What would your Mission 21 be? Let's play that game for a couple of minutes, because then I'm going to talk about Luke Shaw. If you stand for nothing, you fall for nothing. Glazers and INEOS out, says Louis. You know what? I don't know how that works, because I don't know whether there's a genuine movement to get them out. But if there was, I think I would get behind it, because I'm really getting to a point where I just don't think they know. If I saw them in the street, I'd sing, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing at the moment. And if that changes, then absolutely I will get behind it. But I don't see why I have to trust them now. I don't see why I have to back them now. And I don't trust them now. And I think some people are doing it blindly because they said they wanted INEOS and not Qatar. But actually, you should put Manchester United first. So let me know what your Mission 21 would be. My Mission 21 would be this. And there'll be people in the comments later. Always come, if you watch the video live, always come back for the comments, because they're really good. I was reading them at midnight last night. Ooh, late, eh? I know. I'm in my 40s. I'm staying up till midnight. Have it. But anyway, my point was that this is what I would do. If I was in the boardroom and I was Mission 21, I would say this. You need to get me as much money as you can every bloody transfer window for the next 6, because I'm going to go out and buy the best players I can get with that money ASAP. That's it. That's it. We've scheduled 3 hours for this meeting. Well, that's it. What's your comeback? Well, Joel's got his hand up. Joel Glazer's got his hand up. What do you want, Joel? Yeah, we haven't got any money. Well, why haven't we got any money? Because we're greedy mercenaries and we've taken all the money out of the club and put it in debt. Okay, so it's never going to work then, Joel. It's never going to work. We're never going to win the league again then. There is no Mission 21. If there's no money, there's no league. And I'll tell you why. Because every Premier League winner in history did it through money, including us. And actually, when you look at it now, everybody who gets in the Champions League in the top 5 does it through money as well. So there is no team that has got into the top 4 through cutting costs, professors, and youth. There's nobody who's done it that way. It just hasn't worked. And, you know, even Brighton spend a lot of money now and they can't get in the top 5. They can't do it. Leicester did spend money, mate, Greg. You might. It's not the Leicester stand, but Leicester did spend money. You might want to go and do some research on their owners and what they did for Leicester Football Club. They definitely spent money. It was amazing what they achieved. They never should have won the league. It was miraculous, but they didn't just turn up from the Championship and, you know, play the same team. They did spend money. Anyway, we're not. That's never going to happen again. That will never happen again, and it didn't. And it only happened once. They went into oblivion. They got relegated. So why would you even compare ourselves to Leicester? In fact, why did I even talk about Leicester? This is a higher level IQ community than that. Let's not talk about Leicester. But I'm open to alternatives. If somebody in the chat wants to say that's wrong, because somebody said, I tweeted this today. I said, the only way Man United will get back on top is by spending as much money as they can, as quickly as they can, on quality players. And you instantly got people replying saying, no, that won't work for Manchester United. We've tried that for 10 years and it failed. And I thought, I'm not replying on Twitter. I very, very rarely do. But I'll bring it into this. Forest have spent shitloads of money, Oleg. Right. Shut up. You're absolutely wrong. Anyway, going back to what I was saying. As much money as you can, as quick as you can, on quality players is what Manchester United need to do. We haven't done that in the last 10 years. We've spent a lot of money on a lot of crap. That's not the same. So anybody who says we can't keep chucking money at it, that's like having £1 million and throwing it on a bonfire and then saying, now I want to spend £1 million properly. I don't correlate what we've spent in the last 11 years with what we need to spend now. And even if we had £1 billion, we might misspend it again. You've got to spend it properly. You have to spend it properly. We've wasted it on ridiculous players, and I mean bad players, with stupid wages and stupid contracts and stupid transfer fees. But the way out of this for Manchester United, 100%, is recruitment as quick as possible for as much quality players as you can get. And I guarantee you, if you sat Ruben Amorim down and said, there's £500 million there, do you want it or do you want to carry on with what you've got? And he's going to spend the money before you can even ask him the question. We absolutely have to do that if we want to win titles again. I think anything else is just spin. I don't see it. I do not see Manchester United winning a title anytime soon if they're going to do it on cutting costs. I just don't do it. I don't see it. So, as I said, Mission 21 might be absolutely fantastic, but how long is it going to take and what's your plan? Because all I see at the moment is years away and cost cutting. As Beth was talking about this afternoon, that was out there again today, that Manchester United plan to sell Kobe Mainoo or Garnacho in the summer. I mean, how does this work? How does this work? And also, I just want to say as well, to anybody that is defending us not buying a striker in January because we've got to cut costs, and anybody out there that's saying people just don't understand that we've got to cut costs because of PSR, for the millionth time, can we just get this in our head? If you have become indoctrinated and you actually believe that we need to cut costs and we just need to get behind INEOS, can I just say this? We don't. We don't. If you were somebody that wanted a full sale and the Glazers out, you don't have to get behind this at all because you didn't want this. And I don't think anybody wanted this. Anybody who's saying, well, look, this is the situation. We've just got to get on with it. We've got to make cuts because we're in trouble. We're only making cuts and we're only in trouble because we're still owned by the Glazers because they've got us in debt. That was the pathway the Glazers and INEOS chose. I didn't choose it. Most of you didn't choose it. So I will never sit here and go, I understand the cuts. Oh, I understand we need to sell Garnacho to balance the books. Oh, I understand we didn't get a striker in January to balance the books. Did you have any say in that? Did I have any say in that? No. There was an alternative. The Glazers were just never going to do it. So I can't deal, well, I can deal, but I can't understand those fans who sit there going, look, people need to stop moaning. We need to cut costs. That's why we didn't go for Tell. That's why we didn't buy a striker because we've got to cut costs. People need to get in the real world. We've got to cut costs. And I'm like, hold on a minute. This isn't my real world. My real world is the Glazers gone and the debt gone, which was possible, and they chose not to do that. That should be front and centre of every Man United fan's mind when they realise that they're being indoctrinated and they're saying things like, you know, I understand why we're cutting costs. You've already got the T-shirt, mate. You've already got the cap with INEOS on and Glazers. Why would those words ever come out your mouth? I understand why we're doing it. You understand why we're doing it under oppression of a decision you never wanted. There's no United fan that wanted this. None of us wanted the Glazers still here and debt and cutting costs. You might understand why the Glazers and INEOS are doing it because they put us in this situation. But as fans, we should never be justifying it. I got sent something today of somebody actually saying that. We need to stop moaning. It's the situation we're in. We can't spend money we haven't got. We need to be cutting costs, and that's just the way it's going to be. And I was like, oh my God. How can a Man United fan actually utter those words? Why would you justify and sympathise with the situation that none of us ever asked for? But it is spreading through the fan base. People literally sit there going, people need to understand that we've got to do this and we've got to do that. We don't have to understand it. If you understand it, you've got to be pro-Glazer, haven't you? Simple as that. If the summer transfer window... Oh, why is my nose running? I've got a tissue. Yes, I have. Let's talk about Luke Shaw anyway. We can come back to that. If the summer transfer window is as bad as January, I think Ruben will walk away, says Jack. I don't. I really don't. There are a lot of people who talk about walking away. They did it with Ollie, they did it with Ten Hag, they did it with Rangnick. None of them walked away. He's not going to walk away. If you walk away, you don't get your payout. No one's going to walk away. Never going to happen. It might be justifiable, Joe. It might be very justifiable, but you wouldn't walk away. You'd wait to get the sack and you'd get your money. In the summer, if the summer's transfer window is as bad as January, I think Ruben will walk away. That was from Joe. Qatar doesn't guarantee nothing. Look at PSG, says Chris. Who mentioned Qatar? Mate, you might still be rammed up the arse of this Glazer-INEOS thing and think it's good for Manchester United. Well done. It's a free world. If you love sacking people, if you love not buying strikers when we need one, if you love potentially selling young players, that's your thing. That you're entitled to that, and I respect that. But no one's talking about Qatar. What we're talking about is that the club was apparently up for sale. And if we got rid of the Glazers and we got rid of the debt, we'd be in a different situation. Which answers your question for you, because you clearly don't watch and listen, and you clearly listen to shit. Because Qatar doesn't guarantee nothing. Look at PSG. I tell you what it does guarantee. You spend money. Because PSG spend money. And PSG win the league every year. So what are you talking about? Qatar, PSG haven't won the Champions League, fine. But they win their domestic league, because it's a farmers league, yeah. They've just bought Kvaratskhelia. They bought João Neves. These are all players that we would like. So I think that... got a bit of tissue on my lip from blowing my nose. I think that the biggest thing, and I don't even use the word Qatar, if the Glazers had left and a new owner had come in and cleared the debt, we'd have another 30, 40, 50 million pounds a year, because that's how much we're paying on debt interest that is PSR applicable. And also, the Glazers don't want to put money into the club. Forest's owner, Leicester's owner, somebody else's owner, they put money into the club. So all these people who lie to you and say we wouldn't be in a better position with Qatar, I've seen journalists say that. I remember last year, 2 journalists who are regularly in Man United press conferences last May said that if Man United had been bought by Qatar, they'd still struggle to buy players because of FFP. What a load of shit. What a load of crap. Absolute nonsense. Because we already know that for PSR purposes, the debt interest payments are on there. So if you take them away, that's more money to spend. And we already know the Glazers don't put money into the club. And if you do that, that can make a big impact on as well. So It's a load of crap. Look, I also want to say this because I tweeted it. I thought it was a good tweet today. Can I read this out? Actually, I'll read it out to you, and you can have your thoughts. I've got to talk about Luke Shaw as well. I'm not here all night. So basically, this is what I tweeted this afternoon. I hope I'm wrong, but I genuinely think it's 50-50 on whether United fall into oblivion over the next few years. I can see a Garnacho/Mainu sale in the summer to survive, Amorim forced out in the next 18 months, and United falling further off the top clubs over the next few seasons. I think it's 50-50 on that at the moment. I really do. And that's really worrying, isn't it? The thing is, I know a lot of people in the club aren't happy. They're not happy with how the club's being run. And these people have been here for years. They're worried. I genuinely think that it's 50-50 on what's going to happen. I mean, look, if we can win the Europa League and get in the Champions League, it changes everything. But to be in that precarious position, it's worrying. Sell one patch of land and clear the debts, says Keel. Do you think it's even actually possible to win the league at all under the Glazers, let alone 2028, says Stoker? Never say never. I mean, I think the one positive we have is I really do think that if we can start to deliver Amorim the right players, we will get better. You know, you look at what the job that Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle. I mean, he hasn't had all that money really, has he? So I think if you can get Amorim the right players, we will get better and we will start to win games. But winning a league title is something completely different. I think we can get back amongst it, but I don't know whether we can win a league. Who will win the Carabao Cup second leg, says Cummins. I'm looking forward to Arsenal-Newcastle. I think Liverpool will win easily tomorrow night. Thank you very much for that. Right, let me talk to you about Luke Shaw. Great show tonight. Great show tonight. What are your thoughts on Luke Shaw, everybody? Look, I saw it this morning that he's going to be out for another month because he's had another setback. And then I saw an article come out this afternoon that he'll be back on Monday. What people don't realise is that United have protected Luke Shaw massively ever since the England debacle. They've really protected him. And I wish they'd done that with people like Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial and David De Gea, because they got absolute shit, sometimes unjustifiably. But Luke Shaw has been protected a lot by the club, and he should be very grateful for that, because I think what he did in the summer was a joke. And I've said that many, many times before. I think to put it out there that he's going to be back on Monday, in my opinion, is pure spin. And I'll tell you why. There was talk of Luke Shaw being back. And when did he last get injured, by the way? I can't remember. What I know is that I think at the start of last season, I mean, I'm getting lost now. It might have been the season before. At the start of last season, he was injured a lot before January. Then he came back for a few weeks. Then he was injured from February to the Euros, came back, got injured again. Has he played this season? I mean, I don't know. Somebody told me in the last 2 years, we've basically played nearly 900 grand for every match that he's played. So, I mean, that's just incredible, isn't it? But I do think that it is worth saying that I want to word this in the right way. I think what happened is when it came out that he was out for a month, that was coming in from a source that's not a journalist, and United won't appreciate that. And that source has been correct a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that source because it's only the truth. And that source was UTD Menace was saying that it's going to be out for 4 weeks, yeah? So we then get a couple of outlets saying it's not going to be 4 weeks. He'll be back in training on Monday. And the reason I think it's spin is it's because the reaction to the 4 weeks on social media was that we need to get rid of this player. It's a waste of time. We need to get rid of him. So in Man United HQ, they would be like, we need to do something here because Luke's not going anywhere. We need to protect him. So we need to put something out to try and just make this a little bit better. So they put out that he'll be back on Monday. But what people don't realise probably is, and some of you will, is that on Wednesday, he was very close to being part of the squad tomorrow. On Friday. Today, he's very close to being on the... Sorry, I'm getting my days mixed up here. So, start of the week, or yesterday, he was very close to being part of the team for Friday as part of his recovery. He's now had a setback. So, Monday is basically 1 week already. Will he play the next weekend? Well, not if he's back in rehab again. Not if he's back doing light training work again. I mean, what is the setback? Like, has he cut his finger? Like, this is what I mean. The setback, if you know anything about sports science and injuries, if he's pulled his calf or he's felt a twinge in his calf after some, let's be honest, he's been out for ages and he's done a week max training with, because he wasn't a week ago. I think he's only done about a week training with the first team and he's done something. Well, it depends what stage you go back to now. Is it take a week off and then you're back on the treadmill for a week? Like, the 4-week thing is probably true because he's not going to have a week off and then go back to training with the first team. He'll have to go back steadily again. So I think we are talking like he's not going to be back on Monday ready to play, is he? Because we don't look at it. We don't play till the following weekend, so he's out for 2 weeks minimum. But I think it all gets done to try and protect Luke Shaw. And look, there is a human being here. Of course there is. No matter how much money he's on, there is a human being here. But there's also a football club here. And I think sometimes it's like VAR do this. Michael Oliver makes yet another stupid error. Oh, he's been threatened online. Okay, that's disgusting. Let's deal with that. But can we also talk about his shit at refereeing? No, because he's been abused online. Yeah, that's some idiot doing that. Let's talk about how he's messing up the game of football. No, we can't because he's being abused online. So, and it's the same thing with the Luke Shaw thing. Like, Luke Shaw is a problem. Oh, but come on, it's not. Imagine how he's feeling. I know, but imagine how we're feeling. We're paying a lot of money for somebody who's never fit. I know, but come on. He must be really hurting. He must be really fed up. I know that. And I'm sure he's got the friends and support for that. But it doesn't mean we can't be frustrated. And it doesn't mean that we're a charity. And we need to do something about this now. Because people might disagree with me on this, but I've said it for a long time. When he's fit, I think he is one of the best left backs in the world. And when he's fit, he can also play left-sided centre-back. And it's very disappointing that with Martinez out for a full season, probably, well, he's out for this season, Luke Shaw coming back would have been well-timed, but it also would have been a bloody miracle. I do not think he can compete at the top level anymore consistently. I think it's bloody obvious that he is done. Absolutely done. And Man United's problem is that they're committed to this done player for a very long time. So they've got to try and spin it to you that he's not done, that he's worth keeping around, that we should keep believing. But I think he's done. He's barely played in 2 years. He's basically Phil Jones. And his contract doesn't expire. Sit down. Please sit down for this. His contract doesn't expire for another 2.5 years. It doesn't expire till June the 30th, 2027. We handed him a new contract on April the 4th, 2023. He's basically been injured ever since. It's another Phil Jones. We did this with Phil Jones. He's got 2.5 years left on his contract. United know he's not going anywhere. This is not even a player you can loan to Aston Villa. Even the NHS won't pay for him. Like, it's bad. It's really, really bad. His contract is massive. His wage is massive. And we're basically probably going to have to just face reality that he's not going anywhere, is he? But where Luke Shaw lost me, and I always stuck up for Luke Shaw, and it's not his fault being injured. It's his body, but where Luke Shaw lost me was the England thing. I can't deal with the fact that he was hinting about country over club way before that. He used to talk about it, didn't he? He very clearly preferred playing for his country over his club, and he did a few interviews. But to not play for your club for 6 months, go on, miss the FA Cup final as well, go on an England camp injured, get yourself back for the final, and then not play for Man United again. I just think that was it for me. Like, I'm sure he thinks you're a twat as well, but I don't care because you put your country over Manchester United, and therefore I think that was bang out of order, and that's where you lost me, Luke. I think I can't defend that, and you're also injury prone, so I still think he's a good player. Maka says I don't blame him, to be honest, mate, and that's fine. But I'm not. I don't tell people what to think. That's absolutely fine. But for me, that was where I stopped defending Luke Shaw, because I've done it for years. I think he's a fantastic player, but I don't think he repaid that by doing what he did for England, and that's up to him as well. But this is a worrying situation, and I think that what surprises me is that, well, it doesn't surprise me. It's just another indication of how stupid Manchester United are, because Luke Shaw's 29 now. And we basically gave him a contract till he's 32. I don't understand it. And when we gave him his 5-year contract in 2023, he was 27. And I just look at it and I go, this is why it scares me about Manchester United, because we gave Luke Shaw this massive contract at 27, and we also had him when he had a career-threatening injury all those years ago. It's so obvious that a player like Luke Shaw is going to get injury prone in his late 20s, and we gave him a massive contract. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But so yeah, look, I've had a bit of time to think about the Luke Shaw thing, and I think that, yeah, I agree. He's done. As a starting left back for Manchester United, it's a fantasy. I'm sure there'll be sporadic months where he comes back and plays, but he's never going to play 2 months, is he? Never going to play 2 months, and a season is 8. He's just never going to be consistent. And if you want to get back to the top, I'm sure even Sir David Brailsford would say this, consistency is massive. And we haven't got a player there that's going to be consistent. So I just think it's just going to go on for a very long time. And at least he had the Euros final. At least he had that. I tell you who else I'm worried about, and now's not the time to talk about it, but I am worried that Mason Mount might end up going down the same situation as well. I mean, I know some of him feel that because he's younger and he's not played for us yet, there will be a time when he's back playing. But I do worry about Mason Mount. I do. I think the volume of injuries he's had in 2 years is just incredible, and I just don't. I personally, from what I've heard, but also the evidence in front of me, I just don't see a situation where Mason Mount's going to come back and stay fit. I don't. I think we've got to live in a real world. I think he's going to keep getting injured and injured and injured as well. And we can't. I can't say we can't have players like this, because we've committed to them and we've given them contracts and they must be honoured. I think people forget that. We gave the contracts out, but we can't be successful paying, I mean, what is it? 250 grand a week? It's 400 grand a week to Luke Shaw and Mason Mount, and they're never fit. You can't survive on that. On the one hand, they're saying we can't afford to do a 8 million loan deal for Tell. And on the other hand, you're paying £1.6 million a month for Luke Shaw and Mason Mount to be injured pretty much for the last year. It's a lot of money. And that's not just it, is it? Yeah, that's just it. Don't worry about my eye. It's not that painful. I've just got a burst blood vessel, so I think I did it in my sleep, but I don't know. Martinez could be a potential Luke Shaw as well, says Reese. I think you might be right, mate. I think you might be right. But that's for a different reason. I mean, I think Martinez's injuries are just, I don't know. Then again, you're probably right. Might as well be a defensive coach, says Keel. You can't be a coach if you can't run. Jones was a regular compared to Shaw, says Andy Cheetham. No agenda with this question, but do you think United should spend hundreds of millions on a back five system? Feels like a huge risk and gives few future options if it does not work, says Andrew O'Brien. I think we can. I think if they sacked Amorim tomorrow, we'd easily go back to a back four. I think it's harder to build a squad that can do a back five or a 3-4-3. But if you want to go to a back four, you'll have the players to do it because it's the most basic, understood formation in world football. How many years do you think United can be without the Champions League, says the Stig? We can survive without the Champions League, but I think this is a great question, and it goes back to what I was saying before. We can have Mission 21. We can talk about winning the title in 2028, but you've got to look at other clubs. Liverpool are earning £80 million a year from the Champions League. So are Arsenal. So are Man City. So are the other clubs. So they're getting stronger every year. So us surviving without Champions League, yeah, we probably can, but we'll get further and further away from being a good club because these clubs are just earning more money than us and they're better than us. And unless they do what we did over the last 10 years, it's going to be very hard to catch clubs that are better than us already and are earning more money than us. United is stressing me, man. Also, what's wrong with Shaw? Can't believe we are weaker now than we were before the window, says Natty. INEOS think that Amorim is David Copperfield. Win the FA Cup or Europa League with this team. That was from Desiree. Can we just terminate his contract in the summer? You'd have to pay it off, Munter. A product is worth what someone is willing to pay. Glazers used Qatar for valuation to set the price. This is Jim Radcliffe. We were never for sale. I don't think we were for sale, Zion. Football Hub, welcome to Members Club. How players play is also dependent on how the environment is. What can we expect when the higher-ups always mess up and try to justify their mistakes, says Soham. 100%. People perform in environments where they're happy. People don't perform in environments where they're not. There's a lot of people not happy in Manchester United. I don't support Man United. I'm still relishing in the 5-1 hiding we gave 115 FC. Hope you and the family are well, says Shinobi Ben. And you too as well, mate. And all this mission and project shite is just time wasting. Why not try Ranić's operation, open heart surgery? It just sounds like corporate nonsense, says Dennis. Well, I'm a firm believer in a little less conversation, a little bit more action. Loads of people in life have plans, talk about what they're going to do, but just get on with doing it. If the summer's transfer window is bad, I've done that one from Zhao. Right, I've got to get over to That's Football. I'll be live in 4 minutes. But a fantastic show again tonight. Thanks everyone who's got involved in it. Obviously, we're back at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, but I'd like to have spoken longer about that. But maybe Friday night we can make it a bigger show about this sort of stuff because I think it's really important. Looking forward to this Newcastle-Arsenal game, actually. I think it'd be good. Don't forget the tickets for Dublin. We're over halfway there. It's going to be a fantastic night. Can't wait. Get your tickets. Links in the description. Scan the QR code. Get them while you can for the international break. And I will see you over on That's Football in a moment if you're coming over. If not, and you're not watching live, get your comments in as always. Speak to you in a bit.